Hello, everyone. Welcome. To Belated podcast. Lights, cameras, scream! And I'm your host, Leon LeGray, back for more news. I hope you're doing well, and I hope so too. So today, I wanted to go ahead and do something a little new. So I know I've done some reviews on a couple movies I've done. So as you guys already know, so this time I'm gonna go ahead and share some news to all of you, which I think you're gonna be very, very interested in. So today, before I get into a review, and so this review I'm gonna be going over today's podcast is brought to you nothing but a thriller I've just came out watching today, which is called The Panic Room by Jodie Foster. So that movie right there was one of those movies that did really, really well, and something I felt that I wanted to talk about as a thriller. I want to talk about that. So before we get into today, talking about the movie Panic Room, and that's one thing I want to do is get on the topic first and foremost too. I am going to end up talking about reviews, and especially not reviews, but movie news. Excuse me, movie news that we're going to talk about today. And this time, we're going to talk about something that came up on the blog called Bloody Disgusting, which here in the article, which was posted 2 days ago, written by Megan Navarro, and which she wrote here, Deadstream directors to helm new Amityville movie from Barbarian and Heart Eyes producers, which here it says Boulder Lights Pictures, Barbarian, and Divide/Conquer Hard Eyes are teaming up for a radical new take on Amityville, and they've enlisted Deadstream duo Joseph and Vanessa Winter. Joseph and Vanessa Winter will helm the feature from their own script. The original 1979 Amityville Horror film followed a newlywed couple and their children as they battle a demonic presence in their new home. It was based on the 1977 novel by Jay Anson, and inside no shortage of sequels and offshoots. This new Amityville won't be based on the PI per deadline. Its roots are instead of the famed real-life paranormal story behind those stories, with the film offering a fresh look at the notorious Amityville house itself on 112 Ocean Avenue itself, and a legend situated in the public domain. So this is going to be really sweet and a new perspective on Amityville, and which I have to say I can't wait for what's going to be happening. And oh my gosh, am I excited for this one too. And now, and continuing on with the blog, which I've read up to beforehand, which here down below, which says if what we can expect is a completely different take on the famous haunted house story from a pair of filmmakers with an eye for fun. The Winters are fresh off their debut feature Dead Storm that premiered 2022, with Joseph also starring and was released by Shudder. They are also known for their segment To Hell and Back, V/H/S/99, also on Shudder. So, oh, excuse me, I did read this part already. So, and continue on. If not enough reasons to get excited, then the producer show of confidence of might. Producers are looking to fast track the film and target late 2025 for production. So, oh my goodness. So that's what we're going to be seeing from that point on too. Which, again, I haven't seen Amityville Horror in years. I would say the last time I've seen it was the Ryan Reynolds Amityville back in the 2000s, and I have seen the original. And again, this was back when Blockbusters was around, and I think that was the last time I gone and see anything for rent. Again, there's no Blockbusters in sight, so I can't say anything about it. Now I can't go ahead and watch Amityville on Tubi, which I have seen that on Tubi available. So for anyone that is a US viewer, you guys can go ahead and watch the original 1977 on Tubi, and there are plenty of good horror films on that app as well. So definitely recommend. I definitely recommend it to all my listeners out there that is wanting to find out more information on the topic on Amityville. There's a lot of new things happening along the way, which I cannot wait for new news along the way. Which to me, I'm just excited to see this new take on Amityville Horror. And again, we are, as horror fans, are just ready to see what is coming up next. Alright, everyone. As someone that have grown up with in the 2000s, early 2000s, I should say, and the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about a thriller movie featuring Jodie Foster, it has to be The Panic Room all the way. For me, growing up in the 2000s was it for me. And I've got to say, though, I know that she's one of those legacy actors that, started around the 80s. But, however, myself, that for me, however, came out to be a different case. As someone that was a young kid growing up in the 2000s. And I have to say, though, while the film has aged quite a bit, I mean, we're talking about over 20 years of its release. So, to tell you the truth, though, Panic Room was one of those films that I feel, honestly, and to give you my whole retrospective on this film, was, I have to say, it's really good. And the way the film, honestly, it may not age well for everybody, because, again, we come to a point that you look at the younger audiences, especially for the new generation of horror fans out there, you'll see that you got a lot of people growing up with cell phones and looking at this film as well, and how this film was made back then. Like, first of all, you'll see a lot of differences when it comes to, like, for one, landlines was being used, especially cell phones and everything like that. This film was the way this film was going about too at this time, and it was a very different time back then. In fact, I'm sure that when this film was being done, before its initial release was, I would say, it was done about a year before in advance too, because I know a lot of studios go about creating films within a year in advance, and so that's something I've noticed with a lot of these studios, is that they go through working on the films and creating things, which, in my opinion, though, this is a very cool movie back in its time. And one thing I felt that this movie did very excellent back then too. And so for those of you that don't know the Panic Room is pretty much a woman that is divorced, and she is with her diabetic daughter to take refuge in a newly purchased home, safe, which the room, basically the new home has a safe room, when three men break in searching for a missing fortune, which that is the premise of the film of its own. So that's why when I looked at the Panic Room back then too, and first of all, there was a lot of different things that you notice with the elements in the room. Like, first of all, security cameras, which was using like wired security cameras, like CCTVs, and the old school landline, which I'm gonna explain this in a little bit further in on this review. And so, the takeaway on this one, the Panic Room, for me, it's a very much of a classic, where you don't know what to do in a very much of a situation when your home is being robbed. So, and that's why I felt that this film right there, it was just one of those classic examples of what to do in a very much in a situation. It's first of all, it's not like like a spooky film about ghosts or anything, but you got a sense of how to deal with break-ins, and this right here, it pretty much has a lot of elements about how to not let the robbers come into the safe room, and what to do in situations like that, and so to give you also the casting of the film, which not just Jodie Foster, the main protagonist, you got Kristen Stewart, which this was her second film she's done, and she was back then she was like 12 years old. Then you've got the antagonist, Forrest Whitaker, which is the main like the villain in this, where he goes in the home, breaks in, and along the way he has two of the robbers, which these are crazy SOBs. You got Jared Leto as Junior, and then you got the other guy, which I forgot his name. Oh, Ryu on the mix. So he's covered up for, I would say, part of the movie until you see him unmasked. I would say later on the movie, and you end up seeing his face that point on too. And so, to me, the Panic Room shows that, for one, those are scary situations to be in, and you don't know what to do in those type of situations when you have to defend yourselves. And that was one perfect example of what you have to do. Now, crazy part about this whole Panic Room is, for one, they're inside the two. When I say these two, the Meg Altman, played by Jodie Foster, and then Sarah Altman, the diabetic girl, played by 12-year-old Kristen Stewart. So those are the two main characters, which, that's one thing. It becomes very, very scary, and when your home is invaded by break-ins, one of the first things you do is you get up, and then you wake up your young daughter, send them in this panic room, which, I mean, wow, that's how good it is and how thrilling it is, and especially the technology back then. You notice one of the things notice right there is, for one, the old school televisions, the Sony televisions that it's being used on this film, along with what do you call it, VHS tapes, which, to my knowledge, after watching this film, like, the incidents aren't recorded, nothing like that at all. So that's why you go in a movie like this, and you notice that, yes, there are certain things that are very outdated, especially how it's used. But in a certain situation, if it was me, a panic room would be one thing to protect myself. But then you notice right there is that the villain, Burham, played by Forrest Whitaker. Now, first of all, he knows the home better than the homeowners themselves, because, for one, he built the safe room, and the two villains, Junior and Raquel, which, by the way, Junior is played by Jared Leto, which he goes out just as a crazy villain, and he wants to get hit the fortune that's inside the house. And Jared is one crazy mother, but then Dwight, on the other hand, he goes a bit further, which I like about the two villains. But thing is, though, these two, as you notice throughout the film, there are just the most stupidest characters, and the fact that the people that are in the home are, for one, there are smart is, first of all, the Forrest Whitaker's character, that says, first of all, in the middle of the film, when these two characters are stuck in the film, and one of the things that I thought was really good, that when they were well, getting into the escape room or the safe room, however, you notice that they brings a propane tank and just make these characters dizzy. Meg and Sarah Altman unconscious. But the problem about these two characters, which I thought, it wasn't frustrating, but I always thought that most robbers are always going to be stupid. But however, the good thing about this film, Panic Room, is that it isn't like stupid as in Home Alone stupid. Where first of all, you noticed right there off the bat that these robbers are not the smartest and brightest in Home Alone. While this right there, yeah, I can say that these guys don't play really smart, and they're just dumb in general, right? And then Whittaker's character Burham, he's like, no, 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 don't turn it on too high, or what are you doing? And that's why I felt that these robbers, well, they these two, Rakul and Junior, they can be crazy, but they aren't the smartest at all. And Burham tells these two, is like, hey, hold on, don't turn it up so high, don't turn up the gas. And that's one thing I've noticed with this film, is that the antagonist is smart because he knows that if they do anything to cave in, he can do is convince the mom to open up the safe room. But fortunately enough, the two that are stuck in the safe room, the mom and the daughter, however, they do not, cave into the villain's demands, which is great. And I think that this film shows that even in a real situation, and you do not want to cave in. And I felt that they've done a real excellent job in this film, especially how they've gone through with the story. And one of the things about a crime story or a thriller, what they've done in this film is really good, in my personal opinion. To take something that, who knows, it can happen at any point in any time right there too. And that's why in the Panic Room just shows the example right there of what to do in certain situations. And that's why I always go back into this film. While Panic Room isn't something I always watch, I don't watch this like on a yearly basis, because I know that once I watch it, that there are scenes in this film that is still lodged in me, so I don't care to rewatch it over and over again too. Because personally, it may be a favorite, but it's not like the top favorite Jodie Foster thriller film I've ever watched in my life. Now, in my personal opinion, when it comes to the films that I enjoy with Jodie Foster, the other films I would think of is probably like Flight Plan, which is good, but also what tops up for me is Silence of the Lambs. It was one of her career-breaking moments of her life, and so that's why I go back into like Silence of the Lambs and how well this the interpretation from book to movie does really well. And this is a Thomas Harris film, which is done excellently. And you go over into a film like Panic Room, it's great. And I do think that all the actors in this film did their part well, and especially the young girl, Kristen Stewart, before her adult career and her teen career, through when she did Twilight and then other future films she's done, even currently. And that's why I felt that. Yeah, I don't even know that for Kristen Stewart. However, I don't know that what can surpass her earlier careers. I will say that, not to go onto a Twilight rant, but I don't even think Twilight was it for her. I mean, there are better films that she's done outside of Twilight, but this was one that it was a career breaking moment for this young girl, and going through pushing, what other project she can do next. Because I think at that point it was something that she's had a career breaking moment, even playing an actor along with the legendary Jodie Foster on this, and it's absolutely cool to see Kristen Stewart, going far through that stage. I mean, she was like what, a child actress at that time, so goodness gracious. But I do think Kristen Stewart is still a good actress by all means of her own, and taking the fact that how she played the child, and by the way, the child in the film, Kristen Stewart's role on this was smart, and she was able to work, ways what she brought in. But however, I know Jodie Foster. I remember during the scenes where I think one of my favorite scenes on the panic room was the fact that she grabs the phone line that was in the wall and stretches right across. Well, she was inside the panic room, but it was able to grab a live phone wire while the emergency line was not available. And that was one thing, is like, who knows what they could have done. And plus, one day she grabbed a cell phone, which was like a Nokia cell phone, right? And I thought I felt very nostalgic because I remember seeing my dad with a Nokia phone. I was like, oh my god, what they're gonna do? They're gonna use that Nokia phone to talk, or call the police, or to call the husband. No, not at all. And the effort that they've tried, they could not get a signal. Which, I mean, I think it's wild for me, because back then, like, first of all, you cannot even use a 2G cell tower through a safe room. Which, in my case, there's no way. I mean, I guess you probably can in certain areas, but if you're trying to make a connection through a condensed room like that, absolutely not. And that was one thing I felt like, okay, it was a tried effort. She tried to get a signal through off of that room, but no circumstance that she would have had to, because for one, 2G technology wasn't strong, and also back then, if you look at the way Wi-Fi was, there was no such thing as Wi-Fi calling, so she wouldn't be able to connect through the outside world. All right, now the emergency line right there. First of all, there was no way the emergency line was connected by all means, because the emergency line, first, it was not set up before they moved into the property, to the new home. So, what do? And so they end up grabbing the live wire, the phone wire, right inside the panic room. And when the character was making a lot of noise, when she was breaking in the vents and grabbing the wire, the main guy, Forrest Whitman's character, the antagonist, by the way, knows that something's going on, and he knew right away that if she's trapped in that room, there's one possible way that what she's doing is looking to get an outside connection. So that's where, in his mind, he's like, oh my god, what's going on? And so finally, Jodie grabs the line, and she does like a twisted pair where she connects the emergency room and connects, pretty much makes a connection, which to me, that was like, oh my god moment, where she finally gets a call through. And so the first call she does was I believe it was 911. Yeah, first was 911, and then after 911, she calls the husband, and then she connects. What does she contacts? Well, she contacts her husband's wife, the second wife, by the way, which, by the way, Nicole Kidman plays a very much of a minor role in this film. She makes an appearance through an audio audio appearance, but overall, that's it. She doesn't make like a major appearance whatsoever, and she plays like the Stefan's wife for a short time. So it was very interesting that I found out a true IMDb, which I thought was like, huh, I had no idea. Was it Stefan's wife? Oh, excuse me, Stefan's girlfriend on the phone. And that was a very minor role that Nicole Kidman played very shortly in that one part of the film. Overall, not too bad. I would say this was one of those movies that it did so well that I to me, if I had to give it a score and from what I've seen in this film, trust me, I loved it and I've enjoyed it. Now, would I ever watch this probably the third time or fourth time? Yeah. So far, I would. I would say it does, as a viewer, it brings you through the edge of the seats. It just brings you, as a viewer, a panic and fear that it does bring you to the edge of the seat and makes you wonder, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen? And this one thing is, this is a film that it is something that I would watch this like probably the fourth time if I had to. So my score, I would say this is an absolute 7 out of 10. And now, I'm sure I'll be ranking this high on this here for the Panic Room, but for me, I enjoyed it a lot. For me to rank this a 7 out of 10. So that's why I would go ahead and rank it pretty high in my personal opinion. It's a great film, and if you're looking for probably about a good watch or good rent, at least one or two times, yes, it's worth the rent. So if you're a US viewer, you can get it through Tubi TV, watch it through your computer or through the TV, smart TV, excuse me, or you can watch it through Amazon, rent or purchase, that in that matter of fact too. So that's my take with this film. So there you go. Panic Room is a 7 out of 10. Guys, let me know what you think of this review of the Panic Room. I do plan on doing more reviews coming up because also probably in general I'd love to do Jodie Foster's thriller films, which she's honestly, in my opinion, she does best with thrillers. I love the fact that she's done great films, especially with playing just thrillers in general, and the worrisome mom. I've noticed that too, especially with Flight Plan and the Panic Room all together too. But for me, I haven't seen her doing any thrillers, and that was one thing that she knows how to do, is play the a role of a police officer or the mom in general. And that was one thing I see with Jodie. Jodie does great with films like that. And so far, I haven't heard much what she's done in the future. Probably the last thing I've heard was True Detectives, and this is one thing I've missed out on, was the TV series True Detectives. I believe it's season 2, if I'm not mistaken. Season 1, season 2, not quite sure, but it is on HBO. So it is available to view on Hulu, Amazon Prime, Max, and TNT on demand. So that right there, it is one hell of a thriller, true crime, which I've only watched a snippet of it, but haven't gone too far to watching it too. And then the latest one she's done was called A Private Life, so I've never seen it, but I would love to catch up with her future, films as well. So anyways, with that said, guys, this is Leon LeGray signing out with Lights, Cameras, Scream! Out and about. Have a good day, everyone, and thank you for patiently waiting for this belated recording that I'm posting this up on Friday. Have a good one. Goodbye for now. Hello, guys. Thanks for taking the time to listen to Lights, Camera, and Scream. To find out more where you can listen to me, I am pretty much everywhere. Platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and you name it too. And most recently, I just posted this up on my personal YouTube channel over at the Leon the Gray channel. So if you want to find me, just subscribe to my personal YouTube channel for more horror, thrillers, news, and reviews, and much more right there moving forward. And thank you so much again for taking time to listen to the 6th episode. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.